Welcome, welcome. Aloha, doctor. Um, Again, I'm Bernie, the leadership person that I chose to conduct the leadership interview for my third assignment is Armando Sedano, retired IS-1 for the United States Navy.
Hi there.
Yeah, me and him go way back, so he go way back in Cuba. He already retired already, as I have 2.5 years to retire. But yeah, I want to thank you for doing this interview, this leadership interview, and I do have your permission to ask you to be on camera and interview, right?
Yeah. Yes.
What type of leadership styles have you used in your career, and which one do you find to be the most successful, like in your naval career?
Leadership skills. I don't even know what type of leadership skills.
Okay,
But
you can just
but
go
I
ahead
could
and
just say,
yeah.
pretty much, my naval career is you look up to somebody and you feed off of that, and that's the way you lead, just the way you were taught. But if you don't like something, you just, put it aside and you teach the way that you like that other people had led you.
Okay.
That's just the way. Yeah, that's the way I've done it.
And that's most successful for you, right?
Yeah, that's more successful and more beneficial to me and my subordinates.
Okay.
So that's the way I've done it.
Okay. All right. Have you ever been in a situation where you had to micromanage an individual or a division due to daily tasks not being completed in a timely manner?
No, I've never been in a situation like that, but I've seen it done.
Okay.
I've seen it, and I've seen it where our leaders have done it. My leadership has done that in the past, even though it's not really good, but it gets the job done for them. But I've never used micromanaging at all. Job had to get done, but when you have somebody snooping up on you, it's not really fun. But to me, it didn't bother me. I had to do what I had to do.
Okay. All right.
The job needs to get done, and it needs to get done as soon as possible.
Okay. What does leadership mean to you, and what key qualities have sailors mentioned about you?
Leadership to me means a
Yeah.
lot because that's the way we get the job done.
Okay.
It means a lot because if you had no leadership, there's no structure.
Right. Yeah.
There'll be no structure. So to me, it means a lot. Leadership means a lot.
Okay. And then, what key qualities have other sailors mentioned you had, like in your time? I know you retired, but I mean, what does sailors say? They say, "Oh, I like the way he's charismatic. Oh, I like the way he leads. I like the way Sedano leads because
I've never
he's
been
this,
given
that."
I've never been given the feedback of why they like the way I would lead. It's just maybe because I appreciate everything they've done. Give them kudos, thank them. I give them a feedback. Hey, thanks for everything. Thanks for this. I appreciate your help on this. I appreciate this for doing this or pulling through for us. That's pretty much it. That's it. But I've never been given that much of a feedback. But I do know that maybe when it comes to a point that, like, to evaluate them, I've always gone up and, back for them. Whenever evaluations would come, I would go up there and say great things,
Okay. Like ranking boards.
Exactly. The ranking boards, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
It's just to say the things that I would say in front of the other petty officers or supervisors. I'd go up to bat for my guys.
Okay. Cool. So describe a situation where you had to counsel a person, either positive or negative feedback, due to their performance in the workplace. So it could be good feedback or positive, like in the workplace. It could be in the Navy or outside the Navy.
I really don't like giving. It's kind of rare, and I would praise my guys, but it's kind of rare because most of the time you're so busy. We gotta get this done. But most of the times it's a negative feedback, and I remember giving one time, and it's not a fun thing. It's mostly, I guess, the feedbacks, that I would get. It's not a good thing when you gotta give a reprimand or like for a negative situation. It's not good. It's hard, even as a supervisor. I guess that could be the hard thing to do with one of your
Yeah.
subordinates, to correct the deficiency.
Yep. Agreed.
It's really hard.
Yep.
It's not easy.
Yep.
And I've done a few.
Okay. Good answer. I like it. Have you seen failed leadership during your time in the Navy?
Yes, I've seen it. I mean, what can I do? I mean, I can't do anything. I mean, all I could just tell them is like, hey, you know what, this didn't go well. But there's other people that just give their opinions, and it's like they give more than what they think. What their opinions. They'll just talk bad about the supervisor, and that's not a good thing. It doesn't look good. I don't think. To me, I don't think I would just either curse them or tell them off, because there's a reason why they did certain things as a leader, and if it didn't go through well, oh well. I mean,
yeah. Okay.
So we failed. But there's people that actually like to just kind of like condemn or talk bad about their leadership because it didn't go well. But to me, it's just like, if it didn't go well, it didn't go well. But I'll just tell them, hey, this didn't go well. Okay. That's just my opinion.
No, that's good. Okay.
But I'm not there to condemn them.
Yeah.
Things happen.
You're just there to support them for good or bad. Yeah, I got you. Yeah. How do you maintain department or divisional morale or well-being while completing command's mission? Like, you're completing the mission philosophy, either short command or sea duty. How do you maintain that morale within the division department?
I try to reward them and like either letting them go off early.
Okay.
Or if everything goes well with the compartment, division, I'll just go ahead and ask for volunteers, and then like, hey, okay, you want to volunteer for this? And like they'll be and then like just reward them with like some time off, or let them go off early, because you already know that their intentions are to volunteer, to stay back, but yet to their surprise, you're just letting them go off early. So kind of separates your go-getters and you're like not so go-getters. But yeah, I guess for me it's just a matter of letting them go off early for the day.
Okay. Well said. All right. When leading a division, how do you encourage like a healthy work environment? Do you like set expectations? Do you
never had to set up a healthy environment, a healthy work environment? I just been in a situation where like I'm in charge, and anything that happens, it's my responsibility. So I just go off of what my leadership goes by. So they already know what's expected of them. Okay. What to do, what not to do. No horse playing. Can't do this in the environment. In the work environment.
Yeah. Okay.
Can be messing around. Can be horse playing. Can be, show up on time. Yeah. Can be doing this. So they already know. So I've never had to set any standards myself.
Gotcha.
Just task them. That's it. This has to get done, and then we'll just do this. This is our priority. This is this is what needs to get done. But that's it. I never had to.
Gotcha. All right. What leadership challenges have you faced during your time in the Navy?
I guess that came around my first command. When I first threw on crows.
As a first class or second? Third
As a
class?
third class.
Oh, it's a third.
I
Oh,
was a third class.
wow.
I first threw on the Crow
As an E4. Okay.
as an E4.
Third class.
I was in Japan, so I was tasking people, and somebody was just, giving me lip or whining
Yeah.
why they had to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna get that all the time. You're gonna get that most of the time. Like, oh, I did this. Oh, why do I have to do this?
Yeah.
And so after telling them 3-4 times, the person was whining, and then all of a sudden I get my supervisor taking some of the people out and pretty much pinning me against the wall, and then got me by the collar, and he's all like, yeah, this is not to delegate.
Okay.
You give the command, you give the orders, this is not to delegate. And I was like, wow. So it's like, but I was just trying to get them to go out there. But that was one thing that I realized is like, hey, your word is what goes, and it goes. And if not, well, hey, it's gonna get done. If not, we don't leave. And then you could just let the supervisor or the person above you just handle it. But that's one thing is, that your position leadership is not to, for delegation. Your word goes, your word.
Your word is law.
Yeah.
And okay.
And so that's one thing that I learned the hard way about leadership. So.
Okay. Wow. What do you want other sailors to remember by long after you retire?
I haven't spoken to many of them at all.
Okay.
I've spoken to a few, but they were just counterparts. I was never in charge of them.
Okay.
But I haven't spoken to anybody. I've never gotten any feedback.
Okay.
So.
What's your leadership quote, if any, you go by while leading?
That one by General Patton, do what you ask of those you command. That's one that really stands out. So pretty much lead by example.
Okay.
Do what you ask of those you command. Well, the first time I got a taste of leadership was my first command. I was working with the Tomcats. So that's pretty much, you had to just, I guess, lead by example. And that's, for me, that was really hard, because when I was put in charge, I would be out there working when I shouldn't have. You pretty much have to observe and supervise your people instead of working. So, but I guess that's how you learn, just by experience. But that's one thing that you got to do, is just lead by example, and that's, do what you ask from those who you command.
Okay.
So that's a rough time that I had. I had to learn that way. It's just to, supervise your people, but at the same time participate in somewhat. Lead by example.
Okay.
Be a doer.
Okay. Well, I guess we're done with the interview. I'd like to take the time and thank Armando here, retired first class petty officer of the Navy here, doing this interview. And thanks. Mahalo. Well, have a good night.
My chief didn't like that.
Yeah.
Because it actually, your people would see you more like as a friend.
Yeah.
As a counterpart.
Not
instead
as
of
a leader. Yeah.
And I was like, well, I mean, you got to lead by example.
Yeah.
You got to do this, you got to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, you're all having fun.
Yeah.
That's the way I saw it. I told him, he goes, well, you can, it's fraternization. I guess you want to say that. Because he mentioned something in that sense. But he's like, no, you can't. You got to set yourself aside. And I learned that from him. But then again, it's like, dude, I just wanted to make sure they had fun.
Yeah.
Work hard, play hard. And I used to tell them, like, we're out there having drinks. It's all fun and games.
Yeah.
But when you pass that threshold into the shop, when you pass that curtain, because we're in the imagery shop.
Oh, okay. Jason said, I remember.
It's nothing personal. It's all business.
Yeah.
You come in, we're having fun out there.
Yeah.
It's all fun and games. But when you come in through that threshold right there, it's all business. Nothing personal.
Okay.
We gotta come in because it's work.
Yeah.
we gotta do it.
Yeah.
And that was when I was in the imagery shop.